What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. Service kit for the carbs has turned up. Awesome! It's quite good because you get in, there's obviously 4 of them, 4 carbs. But in each of them you get the O-ring to go around the seal the float bowl in. You get another air fuel mixture screw, which is cool. Plus the little O-ring and the tiny little washer, and you get another float needle as well. Sweet! Right, so I was putting all these together just to keep everything sort of as it was. But then Sam rocked up when I had to go, so I didn't get the job finished. But that's all right. Just means I ain't got to take it all apart again. So what we're going to do is shove the service kits into the carbs. I want to get it all back together again and stick it back on the bike. So that's another job ticked off the list, which is cool. Today could be a good day. Oh yeah, the other thing I've got is some VHT primer, paint for the calipers. So I'm going to give them a clean down. I think this stuff has to, I think ideally you cook it. Do you cook it? 16 degrees C. No, spray the can, 10 inches away. Yeah. Allow 10 minutes before coats. Dries to the touch in 1 hour, can be handled in 3 hours. Alright. So there's nothing about cooking it then. Specific design for customer brake compound. Heat resistant to 900 degrees Fahrenheit, 482 degrees C, and will not chip, crack, fade or rust, even under extreme operation. Yeah, we'll put that to the test. Cool, we ain't got to cook it. That's a good one. I do want it to warm up a little bit though. But we'll get that done. So we could be looking at brakes and calipers all sorted out. Oh, actually no, I can't get the pistons out until I get some brake fluid, which is on its way, along with some other stuff. So I've got, I know I'm gonna have to tear the forks down, which, you know, because I've got a blown seal. So fork seal's coming, fork seal driver is coming. The fork oil I've ordered. I also need some brake fluid. What else was there? Oh yeah, and I'm doing an oil filter change anyway, because I don't know when it was last done. The filter looks all but new, but I'm not chancing it. I haven't dropped the oil out of it yet or anything else, so I don't know what state it's in. But you might as well. I mean, for me it's an unknown. So we're doing that as well. So that's what the plan is today. Again, we're trying to get loads of videos out so you can see what we're up to and blah blah blah. I'm in here until, well, last day in here is going to be Wednesday. It is now Saturday, so there's quite a lot to do, but at least I've got time to do it. The starter motor for the van hasn't turned up yet. I'm hoping it turns up later on today, because I really need to crack on with that. I can see that being a last minute thing. Well, I don't like rushing stuff like that, not when I'm, you know, kind of feeling my way with stuff. Right, get on with it then, eh? That jet's in, sweet. Right, so I thought I'd just show you how I'm sticking one of them together. It's not a how-to, like I say, this is just me doing it. Copy me at your peril. But you might as well see as it goes together, because carbs kind of spook a lot of people. It did me for ages, but they're really not that difficult. It's quite a simple carb. It's just a CV carb, so it works off you know, differences in pressure basically. You open the butterfly, causes a lower pressure this side of the diaphragm on the top. That lifts the needle up, that lets the air and fuel in, and that's how you get more bangs. In its simplest form. But anyway, so I thought I would just show you what's what. So we've got some new bits. Try and keep them all separate. I'm working on a piece of cardboard as well, just because the bench is a bit grubby and a bit dusty and a bit not good. Come on. Right, so there's all our new bits. So if we start with the air fuel mixture screw, I guess. So that's the needle. The little spring that comes in the kit as well. Oh, come on, don't do that. Why have you got tangled up on that? Oh, I don't want to bend anything. There we go. Okay, so the spring goes on, and there's a tiny little washer. That goes on like that, and then there's a little O-ring. He goes on there. Like that, and he's going in this hole. So keep it all together. I'm gonna have to set all these up obviously once they're together and on the bike. I did do some Googling. That one? No, not that one. That one. I did do some Googling to try and find the base settings because I ain't got a manual. I've got one unordered. It's supposed to already be here and it ain't. So I had to Google it. So we're going to nip him up so he just bottoms out, and then we're going to back him off 2 turns and 1/4. So 2 1/4 turns out from all the way in. That should get us in the ballpark. It should run on that. If it runs horrible and a bit lumpy, then that's what we'll be adjusting. I do need to get a colour tune as well. I ain't got one of them. That would be handy. So he's in. So next, we might as well shove the choke assembly in. That's this boy. I haven't pulled him all apart. I've just given him a clean. So he goes in there. And this one is really bloody awkward. I need to get like a real thin walled socket. Just because it interferes on this part of the casting. You can't get a normal socket in there. So for now they're just getting nipped up, and I will tighten them down later on if I can get the thread started. Come on! I've got chubby digits, it doesn't help. Alright. You started? Come on. It's really awkward. Start. Yeah, that's got it. Alright, so wind him down and we'll nip him up just with the pliers. Just for now. I will come back and do all this properly. We're going to have to set everything up anyway. Right. I don't want to mar it up though, you know. Kind of like a plastic cap. That'll do. Right, the bit that came off is the spring that just sits in there. We'll sort him out in a minute. Right, what's next? Make sure there's nothing in any of these holes. Right, I did put the guide in. Sorry, I meant to show you that. I didn't, did I? Where are you? There we go. Come on. So this little chap is the guide that the main needle goes through. There's like a chamfered side and a rolled side. The chamfered side is very slightly smaller in diameter. So basically that's the bit that goes in first. Drop him in there. And we're looking for him to poke out here in the bottom, sort of in the venturi. Wiggle him about until he goes down. There we go. So hopefully you can see it's just poking out there. Alright, then we've got the emulsion tube and the main jet. You can go in there like that. See that one? Yeah. We'll just nip him up. That's all good. Sweet. Okay. So next is the floats. You do get another float needle. So we'll slide him on there. Stick him in his hole. And there's a little pin that just goes through and holds him in place. None of these were stuck, which I was quite surprised about. Andy had a good tip. If you get one of those, you know, the automatic centre punch things, where is it? You know the thing that I mean. They do get stuck, you can use them just to knock them out, which is really good. So he's all moving nice and free. This little thing that comes in the kit as well is just a blanking plug that goes over the air fuel mixture screw. I'm leaving them out because I know I'm going to need to get back to it. And we've got the blanking plug for when we do our float levels. We'll wind him in. There we go. Nip him up. Sweet. Right, so then bottom of the float chamber, I've got some of this rubber grease. If it's rubber, it basically gets a little splodge of this stuff on it. It's just a rubber grease, you know, I'm only putting like a real thin film on it. But it helps stick everything in place so it doesn't come adrift. And just that little layer of grease gives a better seal as well, I've found. So, not really sure if you're supposed to do it, but that's what I'm doing. Sorry about that, camera stopped recording. I'm doing it on my phone, and it only takes like, you know, short video, you can't just keep it going. So anyway, literally all I've done is put the O-ring in this and wound it down. I haven't gone mental on these screws because the last fella just mullered them. Yeah, so we're leaving the little blanking plug out of the mixing screw. I think we're done on the bottom now. Right. Flip him over. The vacuum cap, that can go on. And then we make the needle. Okay, so this is the diaphragm. Just check, make sure it ain't got any splits or anything. They're in really good nick, these ones actually. I've put like a real thin film of that rubber grease literally just around the edge. A lot of people don't do it, but I do. Again, I just want to make sure I get that seal, because obviously if this isn't properly sealed, you're not going to get the vacuum. It ain't going to work right. He goes in there, and then this whole thing drops down through here and goes through that little guide. Come on, there we go. So he should just drop down. Make sure he's in his hole. There we go. Right. Spring goes on top and it locates in that divot there. Make sure he sits down properly. There we are. And there's just a screw in each corner. So yeah, there's not much to it really. I always used to panic when it came to carbs. I have a go at most things and stuff, but I am going to embarrass him again because it's how I kind of got into doing all this in the first place, really. Andy Girding from Andy's Motorcycle Obsessions, he does a really good video that explains the anatomy of a carburetor and how everything works. And he pulls a set of these CV carbs apart and does the rebuild and explains all the theory behind it and everything else. I've embarrassed him once, but I could do it again because he's a mate now and you're allowed to do that. But I will put a card up so you can have a look-see, because I just found it a really good video to watch. This is obviously where the throttle cables, the push and pull, come in and hook up to, and this is just a cable guide for it. So, you know, this is what you do your adjustment against basically, but he just sits on that peg and that screw winds in there. So that's easy enough, isn't it? Like I say, this is not a how-to. I'm just showing you what I did to put it back together again. Not a mechanic, I'm a home gamer. So there we go, all back together again. And nice and clean too. I am liking the way that came up. Well, I've got that little spring that goes on the connector for the butterflies. Should be a spring in there, so we'll need to stick him back in. But that's it basically. I've built the others up, so what we'll do is we'll get the whole bank back together again. And make them look a bit more carburetor-ish. Alright, so just putting the T-pieces back in again. He goes in there like that. You can't really get these wrong really. If you look at the orientation, the T-piece for the main fuel rod goes in the middle, and then it's a straight one either side, and the longer skinny ones, they're up there, so it's not as hard as you think it is. Right, we have got choke rail, yeah, we're all good. Okay, so these are basically going to go together like that. We're going to put the springs in after on the linkages, just because I think it's going to be a bit easier. That's one set. He goes either side of that and slots in like that. Happy days. And this one goes in there. Like that. Sweet. Right, so we've got some springs to shove in here as well, which I need to do. And then we've got these little springs that basically go in here, so you can see the little peg there. Basically it just sits over that little peg. So I'll get that done, because it's going to be a faff. Now I think we're sort of in. Right, let's, come on. Right, so he goes in like that. There we are. Right, so bank's back together again. Little springs in the middle. So before I go sticking these in these little linkages, I think all I'm going to do is get the tie rods back in play, just to hold it all together, and we should be in. It's just going to make things a lot easier, I think. So we'll do that now. So he slides in there, nut on the end. That's one. And he's in there. Right. I want. Right. Good. Good. Right, do I get those springs in next? Might as well, eh? I just know they're going to ping all over the place. Come on. Right, he's in. That's one. These are the ones that are going to be the pain, because they're buried. Maybe I should have put them in before. We've got some little washers to go on there. Actually, these vacuum caps are going to need to come off. Sweet! Right, so that's the choke rail screwed back on again. He's in. Put the spring back on. Like that. Yeah, that's all right. Come on. One, 2, 3. Okay. The one that comes off here basically goes to the fuel tap. Essentially it uses the vacuum to move a diaphragm that will allow fuel to pass through. So they're in. That's it. Banks all back together again. Slides are all moving nicely. Sweet! Okay, so we just got the choke assembly, the idle screw adjuster. That needs to go back in. But apart from that, I think we are there. Right, so that's it. Adjuster's back on. This is the idle adjuster. Basically, it just screws onto the bottom of the float bowl, a couple of longer screws. Got the adjuster, washer, spring, and it just winds through this part of the casting. I'll try and do the zoomy thing just so you can see it. And it just presses on the throttle assembly. So as you wind this in, it just moves the throttle assembly and opens the butterflies a little bit. So that's him done. And that is it. Carbs all back together again. So just by way of comparison, just to sort of show you what the difference is. Yeah, there's still a bit of smutch and smew on it, I know. But it is a damn sight better than what it started out like. And these weren't that different. Big difference being is they're clean inside as well. They're spotless inside. And they've got the whole service kit in, so they should operate really, really good. It's not as hard as you think it is. Not really. People get spooked over carbs. I know I always used to. But it's really not as bad as you think. So I'm quite pleased with them. They should run nicely anyway, and at the minute, that's all I want. I just want a bike on the road that goes. But yeah, when I come to these cars will probably get used on the project when we kick it off again. But what will happen is it'll all come apart, and I'm probably going to get them vapor blasted. Vapor blasting is like shot blasting, but in the media is mixed with water, so it's a bit of a slurry, and you get a really bright finish with that. They will come up looking like new. And I'm also going to get a plating kit and redo all this stuff. I just want to see what it comes up like, basically. But yeah, that'll be a different project. But, you know, they're back. So we just got to get the hoses on. I'll do that now, actually. Right, so that's the vacuum line that goes off to the fuel tap. Right, we've got the two breathers. Overflows, whatever you want to call them. One goes on that. Come on, one goes on that. Like that. So the fuel line goes in the bottom here. On that one. He is going to need a clip. But I'm going to get some new clips anyway, I think. I don't like bending them back into shape. It's just never as good, I don't think. Anyway, he's on. Right. So that's us all back together. So we can stick these back on the bike now. That's another job out of the way. Yeah, happy days. Right, loads of fun and games getting this lot on. Thing is that when you slide the carbs up to the boots, they weren't on properly to start off with. They were on tight at this end and they kind of sloped back as it got to this end. So I've managed to get them on, and I've got them all the way on. I've swung the clamps round so it's like perpendicular to it, as you can see, because I'm just doing them up now. But clearance is quite a thing down here, and I think the temptation is to think it's all the way on and it just ain't, and then you start getting leaks. Leaks on a system like this is bad. It needs an air box with a CV carbs, really. Jixit, we're using pod filters, and it's always going to be a bit of a compromise as soon as you lose the air box, because it's all tuned one into the other sort of thing. But hopefully these are on as they should be now. They're certainly sitting all the way down. Annoyingly, I'm missing a clamp that joins the carburetor on this side to the airbox. So I'm going to need to get one of them. And I'm also going to need another set of throttle cables, which, yeah, the push and pull throttle cables, which I've ordered. Because there is so much drag in these. If you operate the throttle assembly on the carbs, it just snaps straight back. It's really good, really clean, really quick and everything else. As soon as you put the cables on, that don't happen anymore. You open the throttle and it just stays there. So I've got a couple of them coming. They ain't going to get here until start of next week. So it just depends when they get here, basically. I'm still looking into the MOT thing with the current situation with coronavirus. Oh, that one's the one that's missing, and that's that one. Because obviously an MOT is not really, I want it to go through an MOT, and I think I have to, because the MOT on this, I believe, ran out before 30th of March. So there we go. So it is going to need an MOT. I'll give my local bike shop a shout and see if they're still doing. That doesn't feel all the way down to me. That one does. And that one. This bloody airbox in all the way down. Right. He's getting shoved again then. Yeah, you can feel it. Where the trumpets in the airbox match up to the throttle bodies. Big gap at that end. So that end down. You're loose. Cool. Can't have any leaks. Right, there's no gap there. Awesome. Cool. We're in. I've mounted it a bit more solidly as well. Found some other bolts to shove through it. This one is just all chewed and nasty as. I do want to try and sort something out there, but I ain't got a clue what I'm going to do. It will be fine to run, but I just don't like stuff like that at all. Right, he's all clean. Which way round does that go? So that way? Yes. He goes on there. And then we've got to sort out something here. What can I do there? It's just nothing. I need another airbox. That's what I need. I need another airbox. There we go. that is not good. It's in this side. There we are. Well, for running it in here and checking it, it's just going to get duct taped if I'm honest, because the holes that the captive nuts are in, someone's done them up, so I just pulled the whole lot through, and that really wants to be sealed. So for now, duct tape, and I'll have to get another one, but that's going to have to wait. There's other stuff to buy first. What's next? Well, we're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Work is being done, as you can see. And stuff is kind of happening. I'm annoyed about this. I'm annoyed about, mind you, I don't know what I expected though. It's probably the original throttle cables. Everything, like all the adjusters and stuff, were just seized. So, and the cables look really dry. I don't think they've ever been lubed or anything, so it's no wonder really. But anyway, I'll have all this off and clean it. We'll get some new throttle cables. I just had an update. They're supposed to be here Monday, Tuesday at the latest. So if that's the case, then that's all good. It is going to be a pain getting that one in the bottom though. I can see the carb having to come off again. But either way, I mean, we can run it. It's just that if you look, it doesn't snap back. It kind of stops, and it's just the drag in the line. The linkage on the carbs is absolutely fine. Oh, that's where it went. Got another puddle of oil by the forks. But it's been quite a productive day. All the carbs are back together. It's all installed. Airbox is on, although this lid isn't. It's just on. But we're getting quite close to being able to fire it up and see what's what. I hate that exhaust. This thing, I can't just put it back on as it is. I just can't do it because it's only held at this end. There's no mounting bracket in the middle. They've robbed the centre stand off of it, so I could probably make up something and weld it on here, just temporary, just to try and support the back. But this is going to flap about like anything. And it's got to be loud too, because it's really short and there's nothing in here. It's just a big hole. So it's just going to be loud and obnoxious, I think. I'll have to call it Asbo. Anyways, that I think is pretty much where I'm going to leave it. Sam's going to be down about half hour to pick me up, because we're sort of on a time frame here, so I've got about half hour. What I might do, well actually I could always spray, yeah, I might start spraying the calipers. I've got the seals and everything for it. I haven't got the brake fluid, so I can't pump the cylinders out, which is a bit of a pain. But if I at least paint it now, then it can be drying overnight. Yeah, I'll do that.